Hare Krishna. Today we continue with our seminar on the holy name. What do you remember from yesterday evening? Whatever you remember. You remember something? Any point that...
The characteristics of the holy name.
We spoke about characteristics of the holy name.
I appreciate your beginning introduction that who we are. We are spiritual, so we have to add this to that, which will bring this to that person.
So yes.
And you gave reference from Bhagavatam, his holy name, and who we are, and how it is connected, and you gave several.
So yes, the beginning is who are we? We are a spirit soul. Then the question is how to make spiritual advancement, how to improve that. Yes. And the way to improve in this age is the chanting of the Hare Krishna. Anything else you remember? Yes.
There were the Yuga Dharma is established by the Shastra, and you gave several places, not only Kalisantarana Upanishad, but also, I believe, Brahma-Vaivarta Purana, and a couple more.
Padma Purana, yeah.
And
But you gave also reference of Brahman Purana. Brahman.
Yeah.
I never heard. I mean, is it like a literally the 16 word is there? 16 name of the Lord is there? The only place found is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Not in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahamantra name is there, but literally saying the 16 name of the Lord, very rare.
I quoted from Kali Santara Upanishad, yes.
Yeah.
From the Ananda Samhita. That there are other references. That, yeah. Anyway, that we discussed yesterday.
And also, Maharaj, you talked about the potency of the name, thousand
Yeah. And what was the meaning of the holy name?
Krishna.
Krishna, yeah.
Krishna is all attractive. Nada is all rasa, graceful.
That Ananda, yes. That so we, by hearing about Krishna, we become attracted to Krishna, and we become blissful. That's our normal state as the spirit soul, to be always in bliss, knowledge, eternal. Srila Prabhupada was walking in a park, and Yadish came with him. And he came, the devotees were walking on that walk with him, that I don't remember the details, it's in Prabhupada Lilamritam. Then he came at a place where the water was frozen of the pathway. He started to break the ice with his cane. And when the devotee asked Prabhupada, "What are you doing?" And Prabhupada said, "This is not a normal, the normal condition of the water." So, in the same way, this material existence is not a normal situation. We can be happy here. I have absorbing ourselves in matter and thinking, yeah, this body. Yeah.
Also, another nice point last year when you came and you were emphasizing about from first chapter, philosophy without religion, speculation, and religion without philosophy will be sentimentalism. And this year, yesterday you mentioned similar, that how knowledge becomes concomitant fact. It's eternally there. It's so nice. I really appreciate, because a lot of, maybe my perception is wrong, some devotee thinks they don't have to understand. Just do the thing and that's it. Automatically it will be there. Or you'll get knowledge.
Yeah, just before we continue, the quote from Brahmana Purana 6:59-60. That's a quote. And the verse is Nama Sankirtan Devatarakam Ramadrishyate Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Nam Sankirtan, congregational chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, delivers a complete revelation of all spiritual reality. So that brings us to that point of knowledge. This revelation, spiritual knowledge, cannot be understood by the brain or the intellect, or you have the subtle bodies in this buddhi, manas. If this buddhi is material, you cannot understand something spiritual. You can understand it theoretically, but the realization must come through the soul. Krishna is in the heart. And from the heart, he gives realization directly to the soul, the awareness. And that realization also brings up detachment. And what is the proof? The first living being, Brahma, Tena Brahma Hridaya Adikava, he got to know the Vedas to the heart, to soul, from the super soul to our soul. So that is different. That intellect is not from this world. So you cannot get it by scholarly understanding. That's not possible. There are so many scholars. I met so many scholars also at university. They could quote Bhagavad Gita and so on. Impressive. But they could not understand that they are not the body. Even after reading all these things. So that means they don't have transcendental intelligence. The material intelligence is useless. And that's good as good for exploiting its knowledge, for exploiting this material. It's useless. But anyway, we are coming to the next point. Where
you completed also with this, what you say now. It's a
yeah.
Very nicely.
Yeah, this Dadami Buddhi Yogam Dhamma. And Krishna explains how he does it. He removes the ignorance.
Yeah.
And because the knowledge is already there, it's manifest. Because now this knowledge is covered. Because we want to love and be loved. But because that tendency is in the soul, it's there. But we are projecting it into the material world, thinking we are going to fulfill that tendency to love and be loved in the material world, but you get only frustration. Only frustration. But everyone wants to control and love someone. If they are alone, they get a dog. Love your dog, but that tendency is only completely fulfilled in our relationship. And that brings us to the point, where is this holy name coming from? So this is Narottam Das Thakur, one of our great acharyas. In one of his songs said, Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. The congregational chanting of the holy name has descended from the spiritual kingdom known as Goloka Vrindavan to bestow upon us the divine treasure of love of God. It comes from the spiritual world, imported. But it's nice that Narottam Das Thakur sings that was the proof. The proof is in the Bhagavatam. Yesterday we discussed what is the holy name. And what is the essence of that answer, you remember? What is the holy name? It is Krishna.
Inseparable.
It is Krishna. And Krishna as his form, his qualities, his pastimes. So the holy name means also Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities. That's all the holy name. So if we chant the holy name, or we chant about Krishna's qualities, we chant about his beauty, his form, we chant about his pastimes, it's the same. So if we look what are they doing in the spiritual world in Golok, it comes from Golok. Where is Golok? That's important to know. We want to go there. Where is Golok? And what should be our mood? The mood we need to develop to go there. Because Krishna says, Ham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Pavartite Matra Pajantimam Buddha Bhava Samambita. He says, I'm the source of the material and spiritual worlds, and the wise who know this, they have developed bhav, love for me, love for Krishna, bhav. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita how to develop this bhav, this love for God. Vitaraga Bhayakuta Manmayama Mupashita Bahupurkana Tapasa Putamad Bhava Agata. That one must become free from fear, anger, and attachment. And how you become free from that? Jnana Tapasa. The development of knowledge about Krishna. about Krishna, about his form, about his pastimes, and so on. And then the verse said, by that they became purified. And then and many sages became purified by that, and they developed love of me. So many have done it. So this love of Krishna is your passport to go into this, or better, your visa. Yes. But Krishna says also, Brahmano I Pratishtana. I'm the source of Brahman. So this Brahma Jyoti, that Brahman, is between the spiritual worlds and the material worlds. So we have discussed the qualification to enter the spiritual worlds. What's the qualification? Please?
Desire?
Prema. Love for Krishna. If you don't love Krishna, you don't come into the spiritual world. That's yes. Bhakti-amam abhijanti abhyasasmi tatma tatvatogata fishate tat anantaram. That's only by love, Krishna says, for me, can I be known. And by that love, you can enter the spiritual world. That's just Bhagavad Gita. So that's the qualification to go to the spiritual world. And what's the qualification to go to the Brahma Jyoti? Yeah, Brahma Bhuta Prashnatna Shostina Kangshin Samsavesh Bhuji Mat Bhaktim Navate Param. That's the stage. But all these impersonalists who go to the Brahma Jyoti, why can't they go to the spiritual world? Why? No prema. Because why don't they have prema? They deny the existence of Krishna. That's quite an offense. At least the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis is better. They don't deny it. But they make the mistake that Brahman is higher than Krishna. That's also not good. This prema will not develop. So they cannot develop Krishna because they deny Krishna. So, but now the spiritual world has two divisions, Vaikuntha and Golok. How do we go to Vaikuntha? Can say, but Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, that's good. And what kind of pure devotional service?
Awe and reverence.
Yeah, awe and reverence, Aishvarya, Mahatma Gyan, and that. So what's the difference between Vaikuntha and Golok? In Golok, you have only one planet. That's the Golok planet, Krishna's planet. And he said that planet is self-effulgent, but it's bigger than all the planets of Vaikuntha together. That's quite expressive. There's a big planet. That's Golok. And in Vaikuntha, you have many planets that, of course, the characteristic of Vaikuntha is there is no anxiety. No anxiety in Vaikuntha. This material world is called Kunta. Everyone is in anxiety. That goes Dukalayam Ashashvatam. Full of misery. It's temporary. But Vaikuntha is eternal, full of bliss. That always happy and no anxieties. That so one who is on the spiritual platform, he has no anxiety. Good test. Do I have anxiety? Or at least material anxiety. Then yes, we are on a material. You are not so spiritually advanced. And not easy to attain the platform of freedom from anxiety. But there is a difference between the consciousness of those from Vaikuntha and those in Goloka. First, in the Vaikunthas, this is from Prabhupada, that it's on a lecture he gave on Bhagavad Gita 8:20-22 in Bhagavad Gita. There Krishna speaks about his Paramdham in these verses in the Bhagavad Gita, about his spiritual abode. And Prabhupada gave a lecture in 1966, 18 November, it was quite early, that he says, in all the Vaikunthas, there is only one supreme Godhead, Krishna, who has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary portions. So these are Krishna expanded himself in different Vishnu forms. These plenary expansions are four-armed and they preside over innumerable spiritual planets. They are known by a variety of names: Purushottam, Trivikram, Keshav, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesh, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Sridhar, Vasudev, Damodar, Janardhan, Narayan, Vaman, Padmanabh, and so on. These plenary expansions are like the leaves of a tree. The main trunk of the tree being like Krishna, Krishna dwelling in Goloka Vrindavan, his supreme abode, systematically and flawlessly conducts all affairs of both universes, material and spiritual, by the power of his all-pervasiveness. So Krishna is in Goloka enjoying, and his expansions, they are present in the Vaikunthas. That Vaikuntha is different divisions, different planets. These are just a few of his expansions. But in the spiritual world, you have also planet Ayodhya, where Lord Ram and Hanuman resides. And there's also Dvarka in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Original Dvarka is in Vaikuntha. That because when the Lord descends on this world, his Nitya Siddha devotees from this, many Nitya Siddha devotees from this planet, they come with him to perform pastimes of this earth together with the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is his own planet, and be above and beyond even the Vaikunthas. So this is also described by Sanatana Goswami in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that Brihad Bhagavatamrita has two stories. one story is where Narada Muni is searching for the best devotee. And he goes from one devotee to another, and one devotee says, no, I'm not the best devotee, but this devotee is better. And he's going from one devotee to another. And finally, he arrives in Golok, and he discovers that the gopis are the most elevated devotees. The other story is Gop Kumar. Gop Kumar was a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, here on this earth, and from his spiritual master he gets a mantra, a Gopal mantra. And he chants this mantra, and by that he's going from one planet to another in the universe, the material universe. And he becomes Indra, then he becomes Brahma. And then he goes to the Brahma Jyoti. In the Brahma Jyoti, his experience when it comes into the Brahma Jyotis, it's very effulgent, like the sun, and he couldn't see anything. So effulgent. But after a long time being there, he started to see something. And then he was hearing. And what were hearing some sounds, transcendental sounds. And being in the Brahma Jyoti, he was hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he saw a bull, and Lord Shiva sitting on a bull with all his followers chanting Hare Krishna, doing Harinam in the Brahma Jyoti. And then Gop Kumar, he felt very happy there, very peaceful. But when he saw Lord Shiva, well, this was Sadashiva. Sadashiva. That is the source, origin of all the Shivas in all the universes. Sadashiva. And his Vishnu Tattva is Sadashiva, where the Shivas in each universe are Shiva Tattva. It's between Krishna and the Jiva, the spirit soul. Anyway, that's technical. But then Gop Kumar, he saw Lord Shiva. I said, why are you doing Kirtan, Harinam in the Brahma Jyoti? He said, oh, this is to liberate, this is for the benefit of all these impersonalists who are merged in the Brahma Jyoti, so that they can become purified and develop love for Krishna, so that they can go to Vaikuntha. And then Gop Kumar continued. He stayed for a while in the Brahma Jyoti with Lord Shiva, but he felt, yes, I'm still missing something in my heart. And he went to the gate of Vaikuntha. So the Brahma Jyoti is between the material worlds and the spiritual worlds. At the gate of Vaikuntha, he saw personalities with 4 arms. We have just described them. They have 4 arms coming out and in of the gate. And he was on the gate and he saw such 4-armed form on a chariot, and he started to glorify the personality as being Lord Narayan, because this is a form of Lord Narayan. But immediately, the personality put his two hands and put it on his ears. No, I'm not the Supreme Lord. That all the residents of Vaikuntha, they have 4 arms, at least the male form. That yes, they have all 4 arms. But there is a difference. How can you know who is Lord Narayan and who is a resident of Vaikuntha? They have the same external. Yeah. Yes, you know. Tell us.
Lord Narayan has the mark of Srivatsa on his chest.
Yeah, yes. Srivatsa on his chest. That Lakshmi resides in the chest of Krishna. And so it is vividly described in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto. There's a chapter, this description of Vaikuntha. And there you find a detailed description of what residents do there. Because Gopkumar then went into Vaikuntha. And of course, he was chanting this Gopal mantra because he's a devotee of Krishna in his heart. But when he saw Lord Narayan with his 4 arms and his bluish form, he was reminded of Krishna. And he felt ecstasy inside the heart. And he became very blissful. And of course, Lord Krishna is in our heart. He knows the desires of all the Spartan parcels. But then, at that moment, Gopkumar, he became in ecstasy and he started to jump. Gopal, Gopal, in full ecstasy. And all these Vaikuntha Vasis came around him and said, oh, cool down, we don't worship the Lord like that. Just, we must have our reference. So they are full awareness that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Lord, the source of all material and spiritual worlds. And they worship him in full knowledge that he's God. But still, Gopkumar didn't feel it at home. But then he met Narada Muni and said, and Narada said, yes, you are meant for more intense love for Krishna. You have this more intense love of Krishna. You have to go to Golok, he said. And Gopkumar said, how can I go there to Golok? Narada Muni said, to go there, you must first go back to the earthly Vrindavan. And from there you can go to Golok. So he went back to where he started, the earthly Vrindavan. But the earthly Vrindavan is a replica of the spiritual world, Golok. Of course, it's not just by booking a flight where we were in India, but going to India and then a taxi that you go to Vrindavan and that you see this Vrindavan. No, you must have the consciousness of the residents of Golok to see that Vrindavan. otherwise you can't see that. You will see Loy Bazaar otherwise, and so on, but not Vrindavan. So there's a process to enter Vrindavan, and that process of entering Vrindavan is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's explained how Akrura went to Vrindavan and how he prepared his consciousness for entering. That very beautiful, these prayers of Akrura. But Gopal had Gopkumar had faith in his Guru Maharaj, and he continued chanting his Gopal mantra. He chanted his rounds. And one day he was chanting in ecstasy, and suddenly he saw Krishna in the forest and started to run toward Krishna. But Krishna is swifter than the mind. He could not follow him. And Gopkumar became completely exhausted. And he came to the Yamuna, and he fell into the waters of the Yamuna. And then in Bharat Bhagavatamrita is explained a few moments later, he was sitting in a spiritual viman, spiritual airplane. Spiritual viman is not a material construction with a lot of fuel and so no, that it works on the spiritual energy. That the spiritual energy, all our wishes are fulfilled. And he was brought in that Viman, and they were flying, and he saw all the planets in the material world first. He passed Svargaloka, Janaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka. Then he went to the Brahmajyoti. And then he passed by all the planets in Vaikuntha, all these innumerable planets. And then he arrived in Golok. And when he arrived there, he found that the atmosphere was full of bliss, prema. Everything was flawless. And he understood, I've arrived, I'm now beyond the material and spiritual worlds in Golok. And he arrived there. And of course, he wanted to see Krishna. The first thing he said, everything is flawless, full of love. But it looks a bit like the Vrindavan on earth, he was thinking. There was a resemblance. And suddenly he saw some gopis. And he wanted to ask the gopis how we could get to the palace of Nanda Maharaj to see Krishna. And he tried to contact them. But it was like they didn't see him. So this is the essence of Golok. They are always deeply absorbed in Krishna. And these gopis were so deeply absorbed, they didn't see anything else. So if we chant our japa, should sit down and become absorbed and only see Krishna in our heart. Nothing else. that is what is required. When you chant, don't worry about all the problems in this world. Soon you are out. You lose the body. It's all over. So it's not so serious. What is serious is getting back our eternal existence and becoming deeply absorbed. Especially these gopis, because why were they so absorbed? In the morning, Krishna leaves for the forest, and at very early in the morning, all the cowherd boys are assembling before the palace of Nanda Maharaj, are waiting for Krishna. And finally, after breakfast, Krishna comes out. But then Mother Yasoda comes out and says, yes, Krishna, you are going to the forest. There are many thorns in the forest. It's not good for you to walk on barefoot. And all these pebbles, these stones with sharp ends. You should wear shoes. I will give you shoes. And Krishna says to Mother Yasoda, I will only wear shoes if also all the cows wear shoes. So Nanda Maharaj has 900,000 cows. How many shoes? Multiplied by 4. The Mother Yasoda gave up. But all these gopis, they are in the bushes because they are waiting in the bushes. And from the corner of their eyes, they look at Krishna. Because according to the Vedic culture, a young girl cannot look straight to a young boy. That's abominable. That's not allowed. So they were looking from the corners of their eyes, seeing Krishna. Then Krishna is going to leave for the forest. Mother Yasoda comes out and says to his brother Balaram, you go in front and you make sure Krishna is safe. Because there are so many dangers in the forest. And it said to another cowherd boy, and you walk behind Krishna. And they gave one of the cowherd boys a sweet and said, if Krishna is hungry, give him this sweet. Then Mother Yasoda comes in and comes out again, embraces Krishna, and it takes a while. But finally, Krishna is leaving. And these gopis, they follow Krishna in the bushes while they are progressing. And when they are going to enter the forest, all the trees offer their fruits to Krishna and their flowers, and the peacocks perform a dance performance before Krishna. And then the chief peacock bows down for Krishna and offers him one of his feathers, and Krishna put this on his head. That's why Krishna has a feather on his head. Peacock feather. And then finally, he disappears in the forest. But Krishna is called Manohar. he steals the mind of his devotees. So he was stealing the mind of his devotees, the mind of the gopis. So therefore the gopis, the entire day, they were thinking of Krishna and they didn't see anything else. And Gopkumar tried to contact him. And he was making signs, oh, but it was like they didn't see him. But then there was an elderly gopi, Purnamasi. She represents Yoga Maya, the spiritual deluding energy. That's another story. But she felt compassion with Gopkumar and told Gopkumar, you have to go this way to the palace of Nanda Maharaj. She showed him the way. So he went, he took that path, and he arrived. He arrived before the palace of Nanda Maharaj. And there he had another extraordinary experience. That he saw Mother Yasoda standing before the palace, Nanda Maharaj and many elderly gopas, cowherd boys. And they were standing there like statues. They didn't move. And so he could not contact them, he said. And he looked at them. He could see their eyes were fixed on the horizon. He was looking at the horizon. And suddenly he saw clouds all over the horizon, clouds coming. And a little later he saw thousands of cows coming. Thousands of cows were coming. And then he saw in front of the cows cowherd boys. And suddenly, in front of the cowherd boys, he saw Krishna. And when he saw Krishna, Gopkumar started to run towards Krishna. And Krishna saw Gopkumar and started to run toward Gopkumar. And when they met, they embraced each other. And Krishna said to Gopkumar, Svarup, where have you been all this time? I missed you so much. And Krishna, so-called, fell unconscious out of love for his devotee. So that's a great lesson for us. Krishna loves us so much. If we would even be aware of a fraction of this love that Krishna has for us, we would not be in this material world anymore. Then all the other cowherd boys came, and also the gopis came around and saw Krishna lying on the ground. And they became very worried. And one gopi said, who is this new cowherd boy? Maybe it is a servant of Kamsa, the big demon. In Golok, there is a difference between Golok and the material world. And Vrindavan in the material world, in the sense that in the material world there are demons, but in Golok there are no demons. There's only some rumor that comes on Nico. But then what start all these coward boys and gopis and Balaram was there. And Balaram smiled and said, let's chant. And they started to chant Hare Krishna. They started to chant the holy names of Krishna. And after some time, Krishna opened his eyes. So this is Golok. They are always absorbed in Krishna and his pastimes and his holy name. That Golok is also described by Lord Brahma. That Shintamani Prakara Satma Sakala Praviksha Laksha Vizetu Surabir Abu Abhipalayantam Lakshmisha Sadasasam Brahma Sevyamanam Govindamadiksham Tamam Vachami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows. Tending the cows. Go look. Go is cows. Lok is the place where the cows are. Go look. So he's tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. Because in the spiritual world, Krishna is there, but also Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani presents his energies, especially the Ladini Shakti. This Ladini Shakti, you find in the Hare Krishna mantra. The word Hare, Hara. That Hare, that is Ladini Shakti. If we chant the holy names, then this prema, this ecstasy comes from the heart. But to feel this ecstasy, your heart must be soft. But by our long residence in the material world, going from body to body, our heart has become very hard. But the chanting will soften it if we learn to chant properly. So the mood of Vaikuntha is, what was the mood of Vaikuntha? And what's the mood of Golok? Sweetness, yes. The sweetness of love of God. So in Golok, Krishna does not present him as God, as the all-powerful Lord. What does Krishna do in Golok? He enjoys himself with the cows and the coward boys. He's wandering to the forest. He has secret rendezvous with his lovers, devotees. A secluded place. So it gives pleasure to everyone. Krishna's beauty and his attractive flute playing melt the hearts of both the moving and non-moving residents of Golok. Even the rocks and trees are his devotees, and they are all imbued with pure transcendental love for him. Krishna reciprocates with each individual in loving exchanges. These loving exchanges are personal, are unique. That so in Golok, every word is a song, every step is a dance, every day is festival. That's Golok. In Golok, everyone is absorbed in loving Krishna as a friend, as a parent, as a lover. It's much more intense love than in Vaikuntha, because that intense love develops when we see in Goloka Vrindavan, everyone is under Yoga Maya. To allow this intense love to develop, that therefore the Gopas, they think Krishna is our friend, is equal. They don't think he's God. That's not in the forefront of the idea. Well, they Yasoda thinks, my son is, Krishna is my son. And that's when Uddhav was sent to Vrindavan to meet Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda, Uddhav was thinking, when he saw Nanda Maharaj, his head was down, and Mother Yasoda was crying the whole time. She didn't even open her eyes. He was thinking that there is so much suffering of separation from Krishna. But that suffering is the greatest bliss. That's not the suffering in the material world. That suffering in the spiritual world is an emotion of bliss. It's not like here. We can't imagine that. And Uddhav was thinking, maybe I will try to bring their prema down, then they will suffer less. Uddhav started to say to Nanda Maharaj, you think Krishna is your son, but he's the source of all material and spiritual worlds. He's a super soul in everyone's heart. He's all-pervading. He's not your son. What was the reply of Nanda Maharaj? Nanda Maharaj said that, oh Uddhav, you are much younger than me and not so experienced. Therefore, I forgive your ignorance. That I know who's Narayan. We are worship also the Salagam Shila. But Narayan is Satya Sankalpa. He's truthful. But my Krishna is expert in lying. So yes. So how can you say Krishna is the Supreme Lord? Is that my Krishna is stealing? And if I ask something, then he brings it. He brings my shoes. So how can you say that is the Supreme Lord? And that if we don't feed him in time, he becomes angry. How can he be Narayan? So no way to convince Nanda Maharaj. He's completely absorbed. Krishna is my son. So there also, we have heard already about the chanting of in the spiritual world, in Golok. Now, this is mentioned here this is the first verse of the Damodar Lila. So Mother Yasoda is finding Krishna. This is the chapter 9, 10th canto. The chapter begins. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued. One day, when Mother Yasoda saw that all the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, she began to churn the yogurt. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna. And in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. So she's singing about Krishna, about his pastimes. So that's all in the holy name. So while churning the butter, Mother Yasoda was singing about the childhood activities of Krishna, Prabhupada writes. It was formerly a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry or have this done by a professional poet. It appears that Mother Yasoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. Therefore, she poeticized all of Krishna's childhood activities, such as the killing of Putana, Aghasur, Sakatasur, and Trinavarta. And while churning the butter, she sang about these activities in poetical form. This should be the practice of persons engaged, eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. This incident shows that Krishna consciousness, how Krishna conscious Mother Yasoda was. To stay in Krishna consciousness, we should follow such persons. So that means we must develop ourselves the ability to remember Krishna 24 hours a day. That So it is said, and that's interesting, that the gopis, this is mentioned in the 10th canto, chapter 35, when Krishna disappeared from the rasa dance. And then the gopis first become mad, but then they start to chant together Krishna's names, Krishna's glories. And by chanting, by doing this chanting of the holy names, Krishna is forced to appear again. But this chanting, it is said that in the Sanghita Saga, an authoritative book on music, says that the singing of the gopis at the rasa dance is the origin of all music. Tavan tavaiva raga surya vyato jiva jataya. Teshoda sasri pura gopi kritavara. There are as many musical ragas as there are species of life. Among these ragas are 16,000 principles ones, which were manifested by the gopis. Thus the gopis created 16,000 different ragas or spiritual modes, and these have subsequently been disseminated throughout the world. The words Yat Kirtanedam Avritam also indicate that even today devotees through the world sing the praises of Krishna following the example of the gopis. From this explanation, we can understand that the Prema Sankirtan of the gopis is the origin of all music. Interesting.
What word is there?
This is from the Sanghita. Yeah, this reference is from the Krishna book, chapter 30, last paragraph. So, two things that we discussed. Where is Golok? What is Golok? And how they are chanting the holy names there. That's good to know the origin. But how did the holy name come to this world? That's the next point. The name of Krishna was brought to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna came in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. That's the first thing. The holy name is Krishna. But he also came personally to spread the chanting of the holy name and to demonstrate the right mood and practice for the chant. So this is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dharma Pravartanakari Prachinda Nandana Premegayana Chelokan Kari Sankirtana. Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, personally introduces the occupational duty of the age of Kali. He personally chants and dances in ecstatic love, and thus the entire world chants congregationally. But Lord Chaitanya comes. He's Krishna, but is disguised as his own devotee. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, first Adi Lila, chapter 3. There Krishna declares, I shall accept the role of a devotee and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. In his early pastime, he is known as Vishvambar, because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. In his later pastime, he is known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Krishna. So, but this is confirmed by many verses of the Bhagavatam, the descent of Lord Chaitanya. Someone knows a verse of the Bhagavatam that explaining the descent of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, that's in. That is the fourth verse of the. Right. Krishna Bhavan Visa Krishnam Sangha Parasta Parshanam Shakhyar Sankirtnam Prayaryanti Sumidasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, his Krishna himself is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So that has been written down more than 5,000 years ago. But then also, Prahlad Maharaj speaks about Lord Chaitanya. It's a beautiful verse. In his prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. Itam Ritirga Rishidevasya Savatare Lokam Vibhavayasiham Shijirat Pratipan Dharmam Mahapushapashi Jaganovrittam Chanakaloyat Abhavastriyugo Tatsatvam. So this Prahlad Maharaj is praying to Lord Nrsimhadev. He has pacified him with his prayers because the demigods could not pacify him after the departure of Hiranyakasipu. In this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human, an animal, a saint, a demigod, a fish, a tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation in different planetary systems and killing the demoniac principles. According to the age, O Lord, you protect the principles of religion in the age of Kali. However, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Triyuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas. So in the age of Kali, Prahlad Maharaj said, you also appear, but you are Chana, you are covered, you are not presenting yourself as the Supreme Personality. Of course, Lord Chaitanya, by his actions, he did superhuman things, which no one could do. But he didn't want to hear that someone said that he was the Supreme Lord. Also, although confidentially, he showed his form to many, his transcendent forms. That. Of course, also, it is in the 10th canto. At Khyalga Muni, who did name-giving ceremony of Krishna in secret in the Kaushit. He said, Asamba nastayoyasya krinato nuyugam tanu suklo rectus tatapita idanim krishnatam gata. Your son appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed 3 colors, white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in a blackish color. So the white is Satya Yuga, Hamsa, Avatar. The red is Treta Yuga, Jagya Avatar. And then the yellow is Lord Chaitanya, the golden. And in Dvapara Yuga, Krishna is blackish. So it's confirmed. Also there are many, many references that So Lord Chaitanya spread the holy names in many ways. He appeared, we will have Karpuranim soon, that the full moon eclipse, there was a lunar eclipse that Lord Chaitanya appeared at that time. And all the Hindus at that time, to counteract the ill effects of the moon eclipse, they were all chanting Krishna's names. So everyone was chanting Krishna's names when Lord Chaitanya appeared. That even the Muslims were jokingly imitating the Hindus. And as a baby, he was crying a lot. And of course, one of the assistants of Mother Sachi, one of the mothers, said, oh, at a certain moment she said, oh, Hari is crying again. She said, oh, Hari. Like, my God, oh, Hari. And at that moment, the baby stopped crying. And she soon understood. Every time he would cry, they would say the names of Krishna and he would stop crying. So by that they engaged them in chanting that not chants. But anyway, Lord Chaitanya started the Sankirtan movement. It was then spread all over India. But yes, but how did we came to know about holy name? But of course, Srila Prabhupada, he spread it all around the world in just in 11 years. Srila Prabhupada was a disciple of became a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Srila Prabhupada described his meeting with his spiritual master as follows. I went to see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur on that day, on the first meeting, just as we offered our obeisances, immediately he began his talking that, you are educated young man, why don't you take up Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and preach all over the English knowing public? Why don't you take up this matter? So we know Prabhupada, he was 65, that in 1965 he was 69. That, yes. Srila Prabhupada boarded a cargo ship to New York. After a year of struggle, he settled in America. He finally acquired a storefront in the Lower East Side of New York and start holding classes in which we would chant the Hare Krishna mantra in Kirtan and speak Bhagavad Gita. The last 3 weeks, I gave 3 classes in 26th Avenue. And you feel this place so special. That is the birthplace of ISKCON. In this way, he attracted a few young followers and soon began taking to the chanting onto the streets and public parks, which caught the interest of many more. Experienced the beneficial effects of chanting and appreciating the deep philosophy behind it, some of these followers became his initiated disciples. We have one of the initiated disciples here with us. Soon Srila Prabhupada incorporated his movement, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and began to think of his movement and began to think of expanding the movement. His disciple traveled to different cities and opened new centers, first in San Francisco, then Boston, Los Angeles, Montreal, London. The Hare Krishna explosion had begun, and it was unstoppable. Wherever the devotees went, both in their temples and on the streets, they chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, and the chanting attracted others to chant. In this way, the movement spread far and wide. So we see it is the potency of the chanting, expanding the movement. Also, Lord Chaitanya, he traveled to South India. That it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So whoever heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chant Hari, Hari, also chanted the holy name of Lord Hari and Krishna. In this way, they all followed the Lord, very eager to see him. After some time, the Lord would embrace these people and bid them to return home, having invested each of them with spiritual potency. Each of these empowered persons would return to his own village, always chanting the holy name of Krishna and sometimes laughing, crying, and dancing. Such an empowered person would request everyone and anyone, whoever he saw, to chant the holy name of Krishna. In this way, all the villagers would also become devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. People from different villages who came to see such an empowered individual would become like him simply by seeing him and receiving the mercy of his glance. When each of these newly empowered individuals returned to his own village, he also converted the villagers into devotees. And when others came from different villages to see him, they were also converted. In this way, as empowered men went from one village to another, all the people in South India became devotees. So yes, of course, this is much more to say on this point. But anyway, Lord Srila Prabhupada, from 1966 to 1977, he circled the globe 14 times, opened 108 ISKCON temples, spanning in 6 continents, and spread the chant of the Hare Krishna mantra to almost every major city of the world. Since his departure, this movement has continued to grow and now encompasses over 65 centers with millions of people chanting the holy name of Krishna. But this was predicted by Lord Chaitanya. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Viti viti achayati nagaradikam sarvatapachara haibhimuranam. In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. So after the spreading of the holy name in India, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was anxious for it to spread it all over the world. He especially instructed all Indians to take up this mission, and this is this famous verse, Bharata Bhumite Haile Manusha Janmajar Janasam Sartakakari Kara Para Upakar. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered everyone to make their lives successful by chanting Hare Krishna. Thus, also Lord Nityananda instructed us, Lord Nityananda with Balaram, that Krishna's pastime, Balaram is elder brother, but here is the younger brother, Nityananda. But as Balaram, as Krishna's eternal brother, he appeared in Kali Yuga to support Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is the instruction of Nityananda. Shadavan Yani, Prabhu Ayabai Mogi Bhiksha, Bolo Krishna Bacho Krishna Koro Krishna Siksha. O people of faith, by the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, O brothers, I beg these 3 requests from you. Chant Hare Krishna, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he foretold, he predicted the appearance, the coming of Srila Prabhupada. We know for Lord Chaitanya there are about 11 biographies, 11. One of them, the most complete is the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But you have also the Chaitanya Mangal from Lochandar Thakur. And there you have the following I just read the translation. Chanting the name and qualities of Krishna is the life energy of the Vaishnavas. I will reveal these activities and rejuvenate pure devotional service unto myself. In this way, I will destroy all the sins in Kali Yuga. So all of you, my associates, go ahead and take birth on the earthly planet before my advent, and don't remain behind. Taking the sharp sword of the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Nam Sankirtan, I will root out and destroy the demoniac mentality in the hearts of all the conditioned souls. And if some sinful people escape and give up their religious principles, go to far-off countries like America, then my Senapati Bhakta will come at that time to give them Krishna consciousness. Dus the Senapati is a military field commander. So here, Lord Chaitanya is speaking about Srila Prabhupada. That he predicted, because he will spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Who has done it? It can only be Prabhupada. Very interesting. But now we have heard the origin of the chanting, holy name, is Golok. And it has been brought down to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada. And what's the significance of that? Why is that all happening? What's the purpose of bringing this chanting here? Why is this chanting come from Golok? It's to bring us back to Golok. That's the purpose. So desiring to give the souls of this world access to his personal abode, Krishna considered Yuga Dharma Pravartani Haya Amsa Hoite Amavina Anyanare Vache Premadite. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age, but no one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Raj. Therefore, Yuga Dharma Pravartaimas Nama Sankirtan Charibhava Bhakti Diyat Nachama Bhuvanam. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nam Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the full mellows of devotional service. So yes. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adilila, mostly the third chapter. So yes, Lord Chaitanya, Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nayanga. Radha Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna together. So Radha is a personification of love for Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya is both in one person. But Srimati Radharani represents internal potency, the Hladini Shakti. The essence of the Hladini potency is love of Godhead. the essence of love of God is emotion, bhava. And ultimate development of that emotion is Mahabhav. Sri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of Mahabhav. She is the repository of all good qualities and the best jewel among all lovely consorts of Lord Krishna. So the holy name is especially infused by this spontaneous love for Krishna. And so Goloka Premadhan Harinam Sankirtan. And this is the gift of Lord Chaitanya to this world. Therefore, he's the most magnanimous persons. Namama Vranya Krishna Prem Padaiti Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namkavat Vishayana is the most magnificent incarnation. He appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has assumed the golden color of Srimad Radharani and is widely distributing pure love of Krishna. The Lord Chaitanya has said, has given us what has never given. Thus this verse you quoted. Anarpitasharim Shirat Kanura Karunaya Vatirnakalo Samarpayitamon Onach Fularasham Svabhaktiris Shriyam Hari Purada Sunra Dyutigadamba Sandipita Sadari Daya Kantris Puratva Satchinam. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachidevi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of our heart, resemblant with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by causeless mercy to bestow who no incarnation had ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant medal of devotional service, the medal of conjugal love. So in summary, the holy name comes from Golok Vrindavan. It is brought to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, all the acharyas, to bring us back to Golok, and to prepare us for that. So this is about the origin of the holy name. Now, at no time we will discuss who can chant the holy name. What's the eligibility to chant? Any common question? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. When you were talking about the difference between Goloka and Vaikuntha, I remembered that I heard that Mayapur is also in the spiritual world. Do we have any more information on how that works? Like, is it on Goloka Vrindavan, or is there any relationship between the Goloka Vrindavan?
I will explain. This is explained by a spiritual master many times by teacher. That we see that in Goloka Vrindavan, we have Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna, they are separated. Krishna and his energy. And they meet, but they are separated. So everything but then we have Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna and Ayanga. They are together, Radha and Krishna. In feelings of separation, interesting. Everything in the spiritual world is eternal. So both must be there in the spiritual world, eternal. Therefore, in the scripture is mentioned, Goloka Vrindavan, Guru Maharaj called it has two chambers. One is Vrindavan, the other is Mayapur. And in Mayapur, there Radha and Krishna are together eternally. And in Vrindavan, they are separated eternally. But both exist eternally in the spiritual world. So they are both in Goloka at the same time. But two different places in Goloka, mystical. But that is what Bhakti Sarvas explains. Does that help? Yes.
Now, the holy name is Krishna, and Krishna has no origin. God is the origin of everything, but it has no origin. How can you speak of the origin of his name?
Yeah, that is a good point. So Krishna has no origin, is anadir. That is no origin. That it's also mentioned Ishvara Ramakrishna, Sakshanda Vishnu, anadir. Adik of an age. Is the original person has no origin. That so how can we speak about the origin of the holy name? Yeah, it's a question of trying to express the eternal, ever-changing in mundane words.
Perhaps instead say the origin or the advent of the holy name within the material world.
Yeah, that is better. Yeah, and it's or the origin of the holy name in the material world. But yeah. Thank you. That's a very good. Yes.
Maharaj, I've heard it said that the holy name, we don't produce it with our lips and tongue, rather by his own will, he descends into our mouth. Is that true?
Well, that there are different levels probably to understand this, but in Bhagavad Gita it is explained, Praktikyamani gunakavsa savasa ankar vimudatmakar iti manyate. We are not the doer, everything is done by material nature. And Krishna says, Maya dakshina prakriti, I control material nature. And then 1814 have four factors of action: the body, the mind, the endeavors, the senses, then the super soul, and the karta. The karta is the soul. How does the soul do things if it's not the doer? It does only by desire. For the moment I'm speaking, but only the soul desires to speak, and it's Krishna who is moving the lips. It speaks. It fulfills my desire to say things. So even in the material world, Krishna manifests sound out of our mouth by his mercy. There's certainly the holy name. It is if the holy name, when we utter the holy name, Krishna dances. That it's he realizes how chanting is ecstatic. It's easy to express in words, but to realize that it's true. Yes. Something else. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you again at 11. Sai Prabhupada.
All right. Godspeed.